permission to tap into the God consciousness, to your soul. Give it permission by asking questions. That just means you're tapped in. That's all that means. So then you get to ask a question, because if you're just sitting there for claircogs, it doesn't just happen. Telepaths, it doesn't just happen. You're not going to get messages if you're just sitting there waiting to hear or see the message and you're a claircognizant. Even if you get visions, you're not actually going to get the messages that come with them or understand them. You're just going to get visions that you don't understand what it means unless you ask questions. The spirits of the world aren't sitting over there going, yeah, I got a message for you. No, they're waiting on you to talk. And the premise I have with this to explain it is, when you go to a subway and you see a stranger on the subway and you feel that connection, a lot of time you don't go up to them and you're like, hey, you got a message for me? I feel connected. And they're like, you creeper, get away. Spirits are the same. You have to build a connection with them that's relevant to them as well, right? You don't just like go up to strangers and just, I feel so connected to you. Please tell me anything that I need to know about myself. They're like, what in the fuck is wrong with you? I don't know what to know about yourself. I'm just here because you in my word. You tapped into my word. We're on the same subway together. And I'm just doing my thing and you doing your thing. So this is how parallel universes work. They're just doing their thing. Did you watch the movie The Others with Nicole Kidman? Can I ruin it for you if you're never going to watch it? Because this will help you. I'm that ADHD person that likes to come in and give you the end of the movie. If you're going to watch it, I'm not going to ruin it for anyone, but this is a great example. In The Others with Nicole Kidman, they led you to believe that she and her children were alive the whole time and that her husband was off to war and she was waiting. They were waiting on him to return home, and she was the lady of the house, and that she was deeply plagued by these spirits, and they were opening the blinds and moving all the furniture around and doing all this stuff. And she was like, wow, why are you doing this? Right? And it was her. And it was her the whole time. At the end of the movie, you determined that actually the spirits, she was, in a parallel realm. And for her, it was very real in her life, but she was the dead one. In their world, she was the dead one. And in her world, she was the living one, and they were the ghosts. Mediums, I'm telling you this because she didn't care. Nicole Kidman, she didn't care about the ghosts that were there, except that they were interrupting her world. So she wasn't there going, well, I want to connect with them. Not at all. But this is what humans do on like, when we think that we're the living ones, we're like, but the ghosts are there and they're in my world, which means they have a message for me, or means they have a message for my loved ones, or I think it's this person and they have a message for me. No, parallel universes don't often work that way, with the exception of times in mediumship where when someone passes and they're close to you and they have a message, that's the exception. But generally speaking, when you're just picking up on all these different types of spirit guides and dragons and the fairy realm, I pick up as a physical medium, I pick up and a clairvoyant, I see spirits crossing the road when I'm just driving through. And I used to just want to stop because of this teaching. I used to want to stop and just like sit there on the side of the road and see if the ghosts would come to me. But they looked at me like I was crazy. They were like, dude, I'm just crossing the street, just trying to get to the other side. My house is over there. They think they're alive. And they're just doing their thing in their world. They actually don't have messages for you. It's really like in mediumship, people really need to understand this. They're thinking that these spirits are here and we're picking up on them because they have something for us, but we're in their world. And these worlds are bleeding over. My brother describes this very well. He is an air traffic controller for Atlanta International. And he's one of those supervisors. And he says, when you think about like air traffic control, these planes, sometimes it's very rare they have these like near misses, right? But most of the time they're just barely kind of coming in and out of each other's airspace and kind of going in and around each other. But it's very rare that if you're in the plane, you'll actually see the other plane. Do you understand this principle? and how it parallels what I'm trying to teach you with spirits. When it comes to the spirit world, they're in the fourth dimension, which is another experience where they're actually alive and living their lives. You can maybe watch The Sixth Sense, that movie, to get another interpretation of this teaching, right? But it's the same for the Fae and the dragons. There's, with the exception of the few times where we have our individual dragons, is that the only reason why they are our individual dragons is because we tapped into their world enough and we built a relationship with wanting to get to know that dragon, that fairy being, that spirit guide, Jesus, or whoever was it is that's in your spirit family. You became so deeply interested in them that they took you on. Yeah, archangels, same thing. You became so deeply interested and invested in them that they took you on. But you are more powerful. You're not going to get this. You're more powerful than the archangels, the dragons, all the spirits out there, all the deities and prime creators, because you are the one experiencing this unique life experiment of pretending to be separate while being whole and power divine beings. Everything they're watching and helping you with, they're looking at you and cheering you on. You're the main player on the football field. You're the quarterback, and they are the beings in the stands, with the weird stuff all over, like you see at the Super Bowl, with people painting their face, and they're the ones shouting and screaming and drinking beer for you. Okay, probably not drinking beer, Jesus said, but regardless, they are the ones cheering you on. You are the ones that have all the power, and you have forgotten that, which is why one of your inquiries for this class was, what have I forgotten?